Good morning. Yeah, I picked a pimple. Shit. So today I wanted to talk about something, and I kind of mentioned it in my last video. Not really. I kind of did though. But it has to do with celebrating your progress. Yeah, not celebrating progress, but your progress, you know what I mean? Because a lot of the times we like to celebrate the progress that everybody else does. For example, my dog. If I want to celebrate the fact that he hasn't bit me in 2 weeks, I give him a treat. I'm just kidding. But seriously, when he was a puppy, I would reward him when he would do good things. I would give him treats. When we're growing up, we make it such a big deal that we've lost our first tooth, that we finally learned how to read, we learned how to ride a bike. Maybe sometimes we learn how to cook or something, but we celebrate the little progression, stepping stones that we have in life, but then it's like it stops at a certain age. Like, you know what I mean? And the other day, I was in a sandwich shop, and one of the quotes that was written on the wall, excuse me, I got more work done on my tooth, and I swear to God, I think it's because it's so close to my sinuses. It messes with my equilibrium, and I'm a little bit like nasally. But anyway, this quote that was in the store was like, stop expecting people to celebrate your birthday. Like, that time is when you were 11. Something like that. It was something that, it was weird. Like, at first when I read it, I was like, oh yeah, that's so true. Because nobody's like, you know what I mean? You do get a certain age and it's like all you get is a gift card. Even for like Christmas, you know what I mean? It's like you stop getting gifts. You know, it's like everybody else does and you grew out of it or something like that. And again, the holidays are about giving, not receiving. But still, as a kid, you're like, what the? Forget a holiday, it's my birthday. Like, where are my presents? And it's like, oh, you're 14 now, what do you need? Like, here's a notebook for school, and you're just like, ah. So when I read that at first, I was like, yeah, dude, that's totally true. But then when I started thinking about it more, and then when I was thinking about this, just the notion of celebrating your progress, that quote is complete bullshit. Like, we should celebrate our birthdays until we're 100 years old, you know what I mean? So, anyway, back to what it comes down for. When we're younger, it's almost like the reason why we celebrate the milestones for our kids is because we know that celebration strengthens them. We know that if we show them how, as a parent, how proud we are of them, or, you know, as a sister, you show your little brother how proud you are, and you show that their progression means something, and your not inspiration, but like, you know, when you yip someone up, you're like, hey, you motivate them, I guess. Your motivation towards their progression, like you motivating them to keep progressing, it strengthens them. It makes them a stronger individual. It keeps them on their path to succeeding what they love and what they want to do. And then all of a sudden, it's like it stops. And we're that little brother, little sister, or we're that daughter that all of a sudden we're like, well, how come you don't want to see this? Or how come we're not celebrating my birthday? Like, how come we're not celebrating the fact that I'm going into the 10th grade, even though, like, I get that I'm already in high school for a year, but still, like, I'm moving on to the next grade. Like, let's freaking celebrate. So basically, celebration strengthens us, and if we don't celebrate, we are weakened by our experiences, and then we experience unnecessary defeat, whether we are conscious of it or not. And you think about it, you know personally there's been times in your life where you have been defeated only because somebody hasn't celebrated with you. Like, and I know that sounds so sad and so petty, but it's so true. Like, say there was that one time, even you passed your driver's test or whatever, right? And you get home and you expect everybody would be so freaking excited, and then you get home and everybody, like, your brother looks up from eating cereal and he's like, your dad looks up from reading the newspaper and he's just like, nice. And then look down and all of a sudden you are overcome with this huge feeling of defeat and like, you literally weaken. You're like, well, what the heck? And it's literally the notion that nobody is celebrating with you, and just that simple, tiny action defeats you and it causes you unnecessary emotions when, in the end, celebrate by yourself And just realize that your progression is all that matters. And if you are aware of your progression and you can celebrate your progression, forget if everybody else forgets about the little things in life. That's sad, right? That's just on them. But if you are able to take that little driver's test that you did, walk and see all those people not care about you, even when you had the expectation that they were going to celebrate with you, all of a sudden you just walk past them and you're like, okay, whatever. You can have that strength inside of you to then go upstairs and celebrate by yourself in your room. Go on a run, go on a walk and celebrate what you did. Or go buy yourself a book, go buy yourself a new plant, and that plant, you two will have a bond that is unbreakable and you two can celebrate that. You know what I mean? Go buy a fish, and then that fish becomes your new buddy of celebration. It's just the simple fact that if we don't celebrate, we weaken. Literally, as a human, our power and our mellow, everything inside of us, that little burst of joy, that light inside of us weakens simply because no one wants to celebrate with us and we expect them to, or, you know, they did at one point and then they stopped, or they do sometimes and they don't, and you're just kind of like, what the heck? Don't have that as an excuse to not celebrate yourself, you know what I mean? This is going to annoy me so much if the sun is starting to come up. The sun will come out tomorrow. So one of the reasons why we should celebrate is because, think about it, there's going to become one day in our life where we look back and say we're like 40 and we had all of these milestones, our 20th birthday, our 30th birthday, our 32nd birthday, our whatever you want to call it, you know what I mean? And you look back and you're like, dang, I didn't celebrate any of that. I spent almost my whole entire life using all of my milestones, all of my experiences, all of my progression, and I literally looked past it all, either because A, I wasn't confident in myself, I didn't see my progression, I didn't use my progression and reward myself, I didn't have anybody to help me celebrate my progression, nobody motivated me. There's so many different aspects, but in the end of the day, you'll look back and you'll think, yo, I was not celebrating for some of the pettiest reasons, even though they made sense back then, and you literally didn't even think any different. When you see that you've grown and changed, and that you are now aware of your lack of celebration, you need to start celebrating. So like literally, no matter how old you are right now, no matter what the heck you're doing, no matter if you have a D in a class, celebrate the fact that you make it to a C. Don't just celebrate it when you get an A. It's gonna take a while to get up to an A. And then when you get to a C, you're not really gonna be that happy because you're not gonna celebrate the fact that you went up just a little bit. Celebrate the little stepping stones, you know what I mean? Like, why just celebrate when you get the gold prize? Why not celebrate when you finally won, or not won, when you finally mastered a trick that you've been trying to learn forever and ever, but then while you learned that trick, you thought to yourself, shit, I still got 17 more tricks to learn, and you totally disregard the fact that you just learned and taught yourself something amazing, something many people probably can't do, but yet you look past it only due to the fact of instant gratification, needing to be the best, the notion of competition, just the idea that only winners succeed and you have to win in order to celebrate. That even makes second place pissed. You've seen so many girls at the Olympics, or boys, who get second place and they have the most sour face. They almost have a more sour face than the girl who got sixth. You know what I mean? It's just, we need to celebrate the little things, okay? Because when we grow up and we look back on it, I personally don't want to look back and then feel sorry for myself. Like, I've already done things like that. I've already become aware of my self-pity, the little things that I was doing, the times that I should have celebrated that I didn't. That now, even though I'm still basically like a kid, I feel like a kid, it's time to start celebrating. Like, even though most of us are still young and still growing, start celebrating now. Don't just wait until like you finally have a job and a house and a car to start celebrating, because then all the little milestones are gonna mean nothing. You're almost gonna forget about them because of the little importance they had, because you were so focused on perfecting everything to get to be the biggest person out there. And really it's like, is your ego wanting that perfection, or is like your insides happy with what you're doing? You know what I mean? Are you just showing off for society, for your parents, or are you like, are you celebrating your progress? Like, literally, are you aware of the things you're doing, of the actions you're taking, of the progress you make, so then you can mark it down on a calendar. You can write about it in your journal. You can just put it in your memory bank and think like, yo, I did it, and it's okay to celebrate. You know what I mean? So, Another thing that's really, really important is that you should always find ways to celebrate your progress instead of mourning excessively over your mistakes. Seriously, and I think that's something that a lot of us love to do, is maybe we do take into consideration that we have made a lot of progress, but no matter what, we always focus back on the mistakes we've made, the bad things we've done, the things we could have done, and ifs or buts, and you don't take into consideration the progress you have made. You know what I mean? So it's just like, please do not sit and wallow in all of the bad choices that you've made. Because think about it this way. You now have the awareness inside of you of the mistakes that you've made. So now the only thing you can do from now is progress. And then with the notion that you celebrate even the little stepping stones, that's all that matters. You know what I mean? Don't just remember your little freakouts. Learn from them and think to yourself, if you were choosing to focus only on your mistakes and only look there, you will never be able to take control of your emotions and change. You'll always freak out again, you know what I mean? So if you understand that, A, I had a freak out, what did I do wrong? And you just allow yourself to stay calm. So say something bad happened, okay? You made a decision and you completely screwed up and you start freaking out over it. You freak out over it, you belittle yourself, you get so down on yourself. Take that and use that as a sign that, hey, I've become aware of my mistakes, of my freakouts. I'm going to progress from here. So next time I do have another freak out, I can stay calm. I can stay collective. I don't need to tear myself down. I don't need to only focus on my mistakes. I am aware that I made a mistake. I tally that down, but I consider it as okay, here's what it comes down to. Do you want to be blind to your mistakes your whole life, or do you want to become aware of them and then be able to grow from your mistakes? So think about it this way. If you make a video, or if you post something, or if you go out and somebody kind of take it as constructive criticism, that's how you should take everything. Don't take things as an insult, even if they blatantly are an insult. Just think to yourself, hey, that was constructive criticism, somebody's opinion. Take it into consideration, but don't take it personal, you know what I mean? I think that's also what really helps in celebrating is don't take everything so personally. Because when you start to take everything so personally, then you really start to focus on only the perfection, and you don't focus on the progress you've made. You know what I mean? If you only beat yourself down for the mistakes you made, it is going to weaken yourself, and you're going to keep repeating the same error over and over again. But then if you tell yourself that, hey, if I motivate myself to do this, and then that becomes a reward, you'll get it done quicker. You go to the gym and you tell yourself, oh, I'm only going to be proud of myself when I weigh 130 pounds and I bench press 400 pounds. But you don't take into consideration that, like, you went from only bench pressing 10 pounds to now 30 pounds to now 40 pounds. You're going to start hating bench pressing because you're going to realize, like, damn, this is so hard. Why is it taking me so long to get to 400 pounds? It should take me instantly. Instead, if you took the time to celebrate the little progress you've made, your body will it's like a little dog. You'll train your mind to reward yourself for the little progress and not just be happy when you bench press 500 pounds. Do you get what I'm kind of saying? What I have right here is, if you reward yourself for reaching just one little goal, you will mentally connect goal reaching with reward. But don't get confused with the idea that you need to be rewarded for everything you do. You do not always need a medal for the things you do. This is just a way to mentally change bad thinking habits and bring awareness to areas where you tear yourself down over your mistakes and weakness instead of celebrating the progress along the way. So that's what I wrote down. It says, reward yourself as you work towards reaching your goals. Sometimes if you already know that you're going to reward yourself after you finish something, it will make it easier to keep working. For example, if I know that by me, even if it's okay, if you reward yourself for something that you know you're going to get done, like say, all right, Sarah, I'm going to go buy myself more flowers if I plant the flowers that are on my deck. My little brain telling myself, yo, Sarah, you're going to go buy yourself some more flowers if you plant these one. It's that simple notion of, hey, you will reward yourself a little bit. That's perfectly fine. But like I said, do not get this confused with, oh my God, I need a reward for everything. This is seriously just a little tiny tip, or just something that you could do temporarily to train yourself into just Going from only focusing on your mistakes to rewarding yourself for the little things to then just being able to mentally reward yourself instead of physically reward yourself, to then just be able to just do things, know that you're progressing, know that you don't need to tear yourself down for your mistakes, and just, that's it. That's it. And then the best thing that happens is then when you realize all of this stuff, you start progressing, you literally change. Regardless of the fact that you want to admit it or not, you change. And there's nothing wrong with that. Us as human beings, we will continue to change and grow until we're done here on whatever we're on. Earth, this dimension, this plane, whatever you want to call it. Humans will consistently grow and evolve and change. So don't get down on yourself. And seriously, like I even do in the past, I love to tell myself that I've gotten nowhere when really, when it comes down to it, we've all gone through a lot. We all need to stop and celebrate the things that we've accomplished. We need to stop saying like, damn, I still don't have this. Damn, I'm still not doing this. Damn, my brain still isn't doing this. Yo, people still aren't doing this. We need to stop focusing on that. We need to stop being so obsessed with perfection. Literally, we need to become more obsessed with progress. That is what perfection is. Perfection is the ability to progress in life. To not be stuck, like in the last video I was mentioning, to not just be looking through one eye, to evolve and look through two eyes, to evolve and look through 3 different standpoints, 4 different viewpoints, 5 different, just to keep on expanding your knowledge. Seriously, do not allow fear of your mistakes, fear of progression, fear of anything to hinder yourself from growing. Seriously. What I love is this, what I'm talking about, it's based off of a book, all right? And one of the quotes that she personally says on page 47 is, I refuse to be a driven person who is afraid to follow my heart. Period. In order to make progress, we need to see what we are doing wrong and be willing to learn. So, simply that. Change and growth is something that will continue to happen. This progression is vitally important, but perfection is impossible. One thing that she mentions is that you can strive to have a perfect heart. Yeah, that's awesome. But until you are done on this until you're done with this experience, your behavior will be so far from perfect that it'll be stupid to even think that you're perfect. Okay? You should always be able to look at your behavior, pinpoint something that you could be doing better, because we're not perfect beings. We never will be. And it's silly for somebody to think that they're perfect, because then they'll be stuck in that mindset, in that little reality that they're living, and they'll never grow from that. Period. That's why you still see the same people acting the same ways, and it's been like 20 years, and you're just like, yo, how are you? Like, you know what I mean? It's just crazy. When we focus on growth and change, we have the abilities within ourselves to see something that we were previously blind to. So again, like I was saying in the beginning, when you mature and you grow, you can look back and see that you used to be jealous, envious, and rude, and you never really even knew it. That is the beauty of change, you guys. You become aware of things that you were previously blind to. If you just think that you're perfect right now, you are so blind to a lot of things that you will continue to live your whole entire life completely blinded. Until you become aware of what you are blind to and you can grow from it. Seriously. I used to be like that, and sometimes I still am, rude, envious, jealous, because we're all humans, we're not perfect. That's why we're here, you know what I mean? To learn, to gain the knowledge, to get this place, to figure it out. It's not to be told, it's not to be conditioned to believe something. Yo, period. And that's what happens if you never progress. Your heart becomes hard, it solidifies. I don't even know if that's the right word, solidify. Yeah, because solid, yep. Your heart becomes hard and you're not sensitive anymore. And I can speak from experience for that. Even though I didn't experience it for a long amount of time, I still know what it's like to have a hard-ass heart, to not be sensitive, and to be completely ruthless after a life experience. Guys, we can't be like that. That is a complete waste of time, energy, resources, everything. Seriously, I got so bitter after I lost my dad. I became just so insensitive to everything. It was hard for me to even be sensitive to other people who were going through hard things because I let my heart get hard. Period. No one can be. No one can be. So we've got to lighten up, you guys. We've got to lighten up our mellow. Fuel it. Seriously, don't be so intense about our perfection. Whatever the circumstance, we need to be so thankful that we were brought awareness. How could you ever be sad? How could you ever be down when you're consistently becoming aware of the little things that you can do to just progress in life? Forget about perfecting. Let's stop using that word, because people have just become so confused over what that word really means that it's like it's not even worth using anymore. You know what I mean? Because what is it? Oh, nobody's perfect. Okay, let's accept that. Yeah, everybody says that, hey, nobody's perfect. Yeah, everybody is striving to be perfect, and that's seriously just what it is. As long as we're making progress, you guys, that's all that counts. That's all that counts. Period. So, I don't know. I thought that was a really good talk right there. I don't remember what I said. But, I kind of wanted to try and not use the book, because I want to teach my brain to remember things a lot easier, because I have such a hard time remembering things that even if I read it, write it down, still, because I have the book in front of me, I go back to the book and I'm not really using my brain to remember what the author said, remember what I learned or what I took from what the author said. Because to be honest, I don't connect with a lot of things that is said in this book. And when I first started reading this book, it was a little bit hard for me to grasp, only because the woman who writes it is very religious, more so Christian, and so she really, this is where it gets a little bit hard, and I don't really know how to describe it, but I'm just not a religious person, and it's just hard for me to, I love studying religion, I love reading religious texts, I love gaining knowledge behind different perspectives and different stories and different symbolisms, and just literally finding the connections between things that literally people who are just stay blind to their one religion, they don't see that other religions are completely almost the same. It's so weird, alright? So I don't like books that are based off of religion, where they say, oh, if you pray, things will happen. And I can get, it's really such a touchy subject and such a controversial subject that I don't like talking about it, because my views are so, they're just different compared to a lot of people. But, so she refers to a lot of things that I had to really kind of tell myself, there's so much information to gain, it's about perspectives. I don't have to see it the same way she does, but I can still take what she's saying and understand it. So this book is an interesting one. It really is. It's an interesting book. But because I have closed my judgmental my judgmental goggles, because I took those off and was just like, Sarah, you need to read this book, and it's a really, really, really good book. It's an amazing book. I got it sent to me from a subscriber. It looks like this. Isn't that surprising? I would have expected this book to be about a diet, be about something weird. But it is. This woman her heart is so pure. It is amazing, and you can just feel it with the words. And what's so crazy is she does these little things where, for example, I'll show you. She puts a block right there, and it'll say something important. But really, it's just her quoting something she previously said. And what's crazy is I'll circle something crazily and be like, yo, this is something. And then it'll be the same exact thing that she bulleted. So it's weird. I literally am like, yo, you and me are on the same wavelength right now. What's going on? But if you're a religious person, this book quotes the Bible a lot. It refers to Jesus a lot, to God a lot, to everything. And what was also interesting is she uses, if you are religious and follow that, she'll refer to the Bible and be like, yo, celebration was even mentioned 170 times in the Bible. But I don't like to do that. I don't know how to explain it. Like I said, I really don't. I'm sorry. I'm at a boggle right now. But it is called Eat the Cookie by the Shoes, Giving Yourself Permission to Lighten Up. It's by Joyce Meyer, and she is the #1 New York Times best-selling author. And literally, this book is amazing. I'm only on chapter 6, I want to say. But I'm about halfway through, and it's amazing. She talks about how, yo, eat a cookie. Eat a cookie when you're getting your nails done. Eat a cookie when you get your driver's test. Eat a cookie. Celebrate, yo. Just lighten up. The book is amazing. It really is. And if you don't follow religion and you don't agree to some of the things, there is still so much information to be taken from this book. Like, don't just disregard it because it is, written from somebody who really does follow a certain belief that you might not. Like, yo, who cares? We're all different. We're all individuals, but we still have so much to teach each other. It doesn't matter. So, literally, I really recommend this book. That's where I got what I learned from. It's simple. It's so simple. And these little sentences that she'll say, like, yo, how come we, she explains, like, about her grandson, how she celebrates all of her grandson's progressions, but she doesn't celebrate her own progressions, and just how weird it is. Like, she uses her own life examples and experiences and mistakes, and she uses it to help other people and teach people how to lighten up and not make the same mistakes she did or not live in the same headspace as she did. It's seriously beautiful. I really do like it, and I would recommend it to you guys. But seriously, give yourself permission to lighten up. Don't strive for perfection. Strive for progression. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I don't even know if I'm going to edit this one. So, it's 26 minutes long, the shortest talking video I've ever made, so I'm going to shut up.